Good afternoon, Mystics fans. Yes, it is that time of year, but things can't get started until we introduce the newest players on your Mystics roster, and that's what we're here to do today. Welcome into the introductory press conference for your 2025 class for your Washington Mystics. Wes Hall here with Christy Scott. The press conference coming up in a moment. Just want to get you guys prepared to see not only the newest picks to your Mystics roster, but the GM, Jamila Wideman, as well on site. This is going to be a great conversation. I'm excited to hear what we're going to see, the personalities, the excitement. Christy, I actually defer to you, though.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to most hearing?
I want to hear what everyone is bringing to the table this season, and not just the 3 rookies who were drafted in the first round. I want to hear what the general manager, Jamila Wideman, and Sydney Johnson, the head coach, have to say about this draft class that they have brought in here to the district. I had the honor of covering all 5 of the players who were drafted here to D.C. on the collegiate level, and can I just tell you, I believe that they are such a great fit, not only tactically speaking, but also as young people who are going to impact not just the basketball court, but the community here in the DMV.
Speaking of community, the excitement that I heard from the community, both on social media and just those who I was around over these past couple of days, you saw the names come off the list.
Yes.
Because obviously a lot of people were focused at the #1 pick, which respect the Dallas Page Beckers. But when Sonia Citron got her name called, there were a lot of people like, wait, the Mystics got who?
Yes.
And then turned around and grabbed Kiki right behind her. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
We're stacking some picks here, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear everything that they have to say as well. But I'll tell you right now, we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and head down to District Winery with your Mystics play-by-play voice. Who is emceeing today's affair? Megan McPeak.
To the studio, thank you, Wes and Christy. Good afternoon once again, everybody. Today is a wonderful day here in the district for the Washington Mystics and Monumental Sports family and Monumental Basketball as we welcome the 2025 WNBA draftees. Along with General Manager in her first season, Jamila Wideman, I'd like to introduce you to Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, and Georgia Amoore. Ladies, welcome to DC. A special thank you to all of you here in the room, to the family and friends of our draftees who are also here, along with Monumental Sports and Entertainment partner, Sheila Johnson in the building. At this time, Jamila, I'll turn the floor to you as you'd like to make an opening statement.
Thank you so much. And you guys don't know me that well, but you know that I'd love to start with a moment of gratitude once again. Just thank you to District Winery for hosting us today. Thank you also, I will reiterate the gratitude for the press that is gathered here. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your investment and your support and your coverage. And I actually want to take a minute to thank the team that is actually behind this moment, this post-draft moment. As we gather and galvanize a new staff with the Mystics, we have the remarkable ability to build on the existing strengths of Monumental basketball. And there are many hands and people that stand behind this moment. So I do want to pause and thank Ted Leonsis, Sheila Johnson, and the ownership group for their incredible commitment and investment in this team. I want to thank our strategy group, who's somewhere here in this room, who did amazing work to support this moment. Our operational and logistics team that connect all the dots and make everything work. Our player pathways and enrichment group that pays attention to the big things and the small details to make sure that these players and their families have had an amazing experience here in DC. To Coach Johnson and our coaching staff, thank you for pouring in to our players that we have and what you will pour into the players that are sitting up here right now. These folks reflect the investment that we're making in the Mystics and that we'll continue to make as we step closer towards our training camp and this season. And to the friends and the family of our new Mystics, I just want to say to you, we will take that baton of support. We've got you, you got them here, and we are committed to getting them to their next.
Thank you, Jamila. I'll start with you with our questions before I open it up to the floor. This being your first draft as the GM, you were very intentional about the type of players and people that you wanted to bring into this organization. What was it about these 3 players specifically that stood out to you and made you want to make them a Mystic?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, let me just pause and officially welcome you, Georgia, Kiki, and Sonia, to the Mystics. An incredible group of women. Who they are, how they play, the way that they have already impacted the communities that they have touched. They've each had incredible careers, and we're just thrilled to have them. And I think they embody so much of the identity that we're building as a team, both on and off the court. And you guys will get to know them, and it'll be obvious why we picked them. But I'll tell you a few things just to start. First, you'll discover that they're good people, first and foremost. You're going to see their incredible games on the floor, but they were picked in large part because of who they are. I think in Georgia, we found somebody that just plays with an absolutely infectious joy and creativity. Georgia is a point guard's point guard. She's always and first thinking about her teammates. I think right after she was drafted, the first thing she said was, "I can't wait to play with Kiki and Sonia," which was amazing to hear in the moment. Plays with a tremendous amount of freedom as both a shot maker and a distributor, so can't wait to have her join us. In Kiki, we've got just an absolute dynamic athlete, incredible motor for competition. And I would also say Kiki has just consistently displayed a courage to invest in herself and at times to make hard choices to make her get better. Absolutely explosive on the block, great mid-range game, still growing, and I think has proven that she can adapt to different playing styles. So really look forward to having Kiki with us. And in Sonia, we've got somebody that will impact the game in 100 ways, and you'll see some of them, and you guys won't see some of them, and our coaching staff will see all of them all the time. I think, she has impact no matter who she's playing against. There's a versatility to her game, allows her to find a way to fill the needs that she sees, processes the game incredibly well, connects the dots, and is absolutely all about team. I think the 3 of them share, in just the few days that we've had together, already an incredible connectedness to one another. We've reflected a lot on sisterhood and the importance of that and their commitment to that, and we're starting to grow those seeds already. And lastly, I think they're a group whose careers just example a commitment to development. They've pushed themselves to get better. And as I said about Kiki, they've all had a tremendous courage. They just have a hunger to grow, to get better, to learn, and to do that in a way that honors team. Those characteristics, joy, freedom and creativity, a dynamic competitiveness, versatility, a connectedness, and a commitment to development, these are the characteristics that I think are emblematic of a Mystic.
I don't know if anyone in the room could see it, but as Jamila was describing each player, I could see the wheels in the point guard of Georgia's eyes moving at the same time, like, oh, okay, Kiki in the mid-range, I got you. Sonia, I'll start with you for questions for the players. Your versatility, we saw it throughout your entire career. You're not just a one type of player. When you think of the versatility, what excites you about playing for the Mystics and bringing that to the floor?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've always prided myself on, being able to play both sides of the ball and just doing whatever the team needed, which was different through my whole college career. Whatever Coach Ivy needed, I did, and I'm excited to do the same thing at the Mystics. Whatever the coach wants me to do, however I can impact the team and help the team win is what I'm going to do, and I'm really excited to do it alongside Georgia and Kiki, and also, the rest of the Mystics team, and just learn from the vets that we have. So even though I'd say I pride myself on that, I still have a lot of growing to do, and I'm excited to get better on both ends of the floor.
Kiki, in your experience and your college career, 2 very, very distinct playing styles. When you think of the adaptability that you have as a player in going from one to the next, and now you'll experience a different type of playing style, how do you feel that mindset allows you to set up for success with the Mystics?
Well, first, good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to be in D.C. and to be a Mystic. I think for me, it's just being able to adapt. I think being able to learn on the fly, go with the flow, whatever's happening. I want to make sure that I can present my best self. So even if things are a little bit uncomfortable, I have to figure out a way to make it work. And I feel like this season for me the mantra was being comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I feel like that's something that will translate as I come here to the Mystics. It's a whole new world, whole new landscape, whole new system that I'm not going to be used to. But I know I've done stuff in the past to help me, have a more successful transition here. But I'm just super excited to be a sponge, to learn from coach, the staff, the vets in front of me. And I know I have so much more to learn, and I think that's the most exciting part of being here in D.C.
Georgia, the pride that you take as a connector on the floor, not just as a point guard, but as a teammate, as a leader, as a friend, when you think of that mindset, where does it come from, and how do you see it translating onto the floor in this new space for you?
Yeah, if you guys can't tell by my blended accent, I am from Australia, but growing up playing with the Opals and the Sapphires, Jade included, I think just being a part of a sisterhood was so deeply rooted in who we were. The passion for each other. I've never been a part of a team where it was, a one-person lead. I'm so aware that it's a connection that you all have to have. Everyone has a role and everyone brings that. So it's my job and my duty to make sure that everyone's put in those positions to succeed and do what they do and do it well. So I take pride in that, and I think with the pieces that the Mystics already have, the veterans I'm excited to learn from, but it's also my job to bring joy and connection, and that's just how I play, with a lot of pride, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, because sometimes it's the intangibles that can make a good team great, so that's what I'm all about.
I must say, we probably have three of the most fashionable draftees. Ladies, the fits were fire the other night, I got to say. Georgia, I have to talk to you about that one. We will now open it up to the room for questions. A comms person will find you with the mic. Please state your name, your affiliation, and who your question is directed to.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations once again. Tyler Byron with Monumental Sports Network. I'll direct this one at Kiki. What about this situation in Washington with new general manager, new head coach? You're going to have two rookies alongside you and sharing the same journey together. What makes it so special about that in particular?
Honestly, I think it's the people. From my first interview with Coach Johnson and Jamila, it was literally like a family. It was very conversational. I was really nervous for the interview, and they made me feel super, relaxed, and just being very honest with me, what they see that I can bring to the table, and I was honest with myself what I think I can work on. And then with Sonia and Georgia, this past weekend has been incredible. Truly, we've been competitors our whole college careers, but to only have 3 days and connect instantly before we knew we were on the same team is something that I'm super excited about, to just be playing alongside of them. And then since I've been in D.C., I've had such a warm welcome from when I landed in the airport. People are super happy that I'm here, super happy that I'm a Mystic. So I just feel very welcomed here, and I think that's something that I'm looking forward to, just being a part of this community.
Thank you. And I have one for Jamila. You talked about what you liked about all these players. What was maybe something that you found out throughout the process of maybe interviewing them, interviewing people around them, about these players that stood out to you in a way that you didn't know before?
Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time and put a lot of thought into certainly how we evaluate players on the court, how we think about what's important about who they are. And as we build, I think, as I said at the start, who they are as people is critical to us, because I think we know that as they look at each other, one of the biggest strengths is going to be that they can learn from each other. Their awareness, and I think you just heard to a person, a reflection on our existing team and our vets, and a respect for that experience, and I think fundamentally a desire to contribute. When you're looking to build, and when you're looking to build something that ultimately reflects a partnership with players, you want to look for players who want to invest and who want to build, and I think these are three incredible examples of that.
Greg Hoffman with the Team 980. This is really for all three of you. We can start with Sonia. That 15-minute block the other night where all three of you were selected, that's a very rare thing that happens, and I'd be curious to hear your perspective of you get taken first, and then as soon as you go to Washington, I'm getting two more teammates in the next 10 minutes, and then Kiki in the middle, and Georgia as the third pick in that rotation. Kind of your 15-minute span there as the three of you get selected.
Yeah, it was definitely really hectic because as soon as you get drafted, you just walk off. I didn't have my phone or anything, and so I didn't even know what was going on. And then I think I remember hearing like with the 4th pick, and I was like trying to hear, but I couldn't hear who they said. So the person that was like telling me where to go, I was like, oh, like can you check like who was it? And when I found out it was Kiki in Georgia, I was so happy. I mean, I've been playing against Georgia for like my entire college career, and I had to guard her, and I'm happy. I don't need to do that anymore. I could play like along with her now, and then Kiki, I played her this year, and happy again. I don't have to do that. But yeah, they're amazing players, and they're even better people, which is why I'm just really excited to share this experience with them, because I think we're all going to be going through similar things. So to be able to do it alongside them is I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, similarly to Sonia, like it was the same thing. Once I got chosen, I was very emotional, but then I was like, I'm super glad I get to be her teammate. They whooped us at home this year, so it's like I don't want to play against her anymore. And then similarly, as I was taking my pictures, I was like, who's the 6th? Like, who was it? Who was it? And they said Georgia, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like that morning we had made a TikTok together. People in the comments were like, future Mystics, I'm speaking it into existence. And then for it to happen was just super special. So again, like these are truly amazing women, super genuine, super authentic, and I'm just super excited that I get to be surrounded by them.
Yeah, I mean, being in that position where I knew exactly who was picked before, it was amazing. I was like, please pick me. But no, the same kind of effect. You know, I think we met with each other when we were going through like the media sections and getting photos with each other, and we kind of had a moment of reflection about kind of the days prior. You know, I had messaged Sonia. We time-stamped it March the 10th. Last year, after we played each other in the ACC tournament, and I pretty much said, I'm a big fan of your game, I'd love to play with you one day, and she said likewise, maybe soon, so that worked out. And Kiki and I went out for dinner together, just the two of us the night before the draft, and we were just chit-chatting, and I think just it's kind of cool how they were the people I gravitated to without knowing what was about to happen. So I think just, you know, knowing that I was going to join them, I had the most priceless reaction, and it was chills, because they're great humans, and I've always respected their games, and I've always watched them or been connected with them, so it's kind of cool.
And then the great people part of it is something that, Jamila, you've talked about, obviously Michael and Sydney, and same thing all throughout the Wizards Monumental basketball. So I'm curious, for the 3 players, your first impressions of meeting the execs and the coaches at Monumental here at the Mystics, and what your first impressions of them were, because unlike, you know, the NFL draft process has been going on for like 3 months now, this has been a 1-week blitz or 2-week blitz here over the last little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, amazing people from, like Kiki said, from the second we landed. Just everybody's been so welcoming, and you can really tell the culture that they are, that they have here, and that's why I'm just really happy to be a part of it, and obviously continue to get to know them, because everything's happened so fast. But yeah, just very welcoming, amazing people.
Yeah, I'd agree. We had dinner last night, and it was such an open conversation. Like, they wanted to hear our feedback. They want this to be a partnership and, you know, bouncing off of each other. So I think just taking the time to truly hear what are the things that we want, or what do we need to be successful, is something that I really appreciated.
Yeah, I think it's just comfortable, in a sense where obviously you are going to compete and push, but I think just from a personable aspect, you know, I even said it from the calls pre-draft, like, it felt like a comfortable conversation, and it didn't feel like it was a question and answer transaction. It felt like a conversation and a discussion, and clearly that's carried through to these past 2 days, so it's definitely a value that is appreciated and wanted by the staff.
Hi, ladies. Garita Parks with Double Take Sports. Sonia, specifically for you, on draft night, Georgia, she said that you have a stone-cold mentality on the basketball court. Can you just give us a little bit more insight into your basketball mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm somebody that never gets too high or too low, and I think you can see that with how I play. I kind of just always steady, and I've kind of always been like that. But yeah, I think I try to just keep myself composed no matter what's happening in the game. So even if we're up, if we're down, whatever that may be, just being composed and doing what I'm supposed to do, doing my role, whatever that is. But yeah, just staying steady. That's just how I've always played.
And then for Kiki and Georgia, just based on what you know of the roster, what excites you most about playing alongside Shakira Austin, Brittany, and just all the players that are already on the roster?
Yeah, so I actually worked out with Shakira this summer, so we were already connected, so I was super excited to be her teammate. She sent me a lovely text, and then same thing with Aaliyah. We've always kind of been connected with this UConn, USC, Stanford dynamic, so to be teammates is super exciting. And then with Slim, like, I want to say my ninth grade in high school, I had already been working out with her in LA, so there's just a lot of connection, which I really, truly feel like this was the spot for me to be.
Yeah, I think I already texted Slim and I said I just can't wait to pick your brain, and her response was, can't wait to pick yours as well. So I think even just that was very cool. And Aaliyah is obviously the sweetest girl. 2019, we were both in Tampa for NBA Academy, so we kind of crossed paths there. And obviously I have a connection with Jade Melbourne. I grew up playing with her, and a lot of Americans seem to think when you're an Australian, you know every Australian. But no, Jade is someone I actually know and grew up with, so I'm very excited to just immerse myself in that situation. And I think, you know, Steph was great with us in the WNPA. She was on that board and she made a couple of jokes, so she seems very lighthearted off the court, and I'm excited to get to know them even better.
Hi ladies, over here, Jade Lawson with 7 News. First of all, congratulations. We're excited to have you in DC. We spoke to Jamila on Monday night asking her just her thoughts on the draft, and she mentioned that this was an investment in the future, an investment in the players. So what does that investment mean as you guys kind of take this big 3 into this next chapter with this new coaching era and new era of the Mystics?
I mean, I think we've been talking about it, and it's a huge opportunity, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. I think we want to make sure our culture is right. We want to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do, but I think it starts with the vets that we already have on the Mystics, and from what I've heard, they're amazing people, and we're coming into a great culture, so it's just making sure we maintain that and try to help grow it in whatever ways that we can.
I think Coach also said that iron sharpens iron, so having that establishment already, but coming in and making sure that we're competing and showing up every day and working our tails off every day, that can only put you up incrementally, literally day by day.
Yeah, I think they pretty much said it, but I think it's just such an honor that our coaches and the front office believe in us to be able to help them achieve the goal that they have in mind. But then as Sonia said, like, we know it's a great honor opportunity, but it comes with so many challenges. But us 3 up here, we are more than capable of rising to that occasion.
Welcome all to Washington, D.C. I'm Chad Ricardo, Fox 5 D.C. Jamila, this question is for you. During your introductory press conference, you talked about the importance of not only building the right culture here within the Mystics, but also how this organization connects with the people of the DMV. How do you hope that this crop of draft picks makes that connection and spread your brand to the people of Washington, D.C. and beyond?
Yeah, great question. I think the lucky thing with these guys is that we have an example for how they've done that in the spaces that they've been in already. If you look at the schools that they played at, and you look at the fan base that followed them through the NCAA tournament, they already have a reach that's incredibly expansive. And I think what we want for the Mystics is to both have that expansive reach, but also to touch, I think, the incredible deep roots of this community. And so I think what we hope as we learn each other better is that DC creates this amazing opportunity, I think, probably for each of them to find the different communities that they naturally connect to. And there's such diversity here that I think it's a unique opportunity in DC that maybe isn't necessarily true in every other place. And so we want to invite folks out to the games. I think when you come, you will see an incredibly dynamic and competitive game. And I think the great thing about these players is who they are, their personalities is evident in their game. And I think that kind of infectious and I think that joy is going to be really fun to watch. And what our outreach will look like will in many ways be driven by them and the spaces that they want to touch. And so our job is to figure out what those places are and to support that.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon to Monumental Basketball leadership, to ownership as well too. We're going to have you all come up and take a photo with the players. For the media in the room, if you've arranged a one-on-one, once the photo's been taken, a comms person will find you and get that all settled. Everyone else, you're more than welcome to join us on the terrace as well. Sonia, Kiki, Georgia, welcome to DC.
Thank you.
Claps abound, the words have been spoken, the questions have been asked, but most importantly, the smiles have been seen from your 2025 first-round draft picks of your Washington Mystics down at District Winery, along with the front office, and of course, GM Jamila Wideman taking the podium with him as well. Excited for the future, the investment, as it was called, by many people on site, and we're excited to get it undertaken. Again, Christy Winter-Scott, myself, Wes Hall, here on the back end of this. Christy, a lot of notes, got a lot of notes, copious note-taking over here. I just want your overall recap of their sentiment in general. Then we'll get into the players quickly.
Well, I love what Jamila Wideman said about the personalities of each of the players shining through their skill sets on the court, and she couldn't be more correct in seeing them on the collegiate level. And even before that, I've seen who they are as people, and it does shine through with how they operate competitively. And so I think it's going to be so exciting for the fans to come down and see the blend and the diversity of those personalities come together in a unified force on the court in the WNBA this year.
All right, so let's start off with the first play. Let's go with Sonia Citron, number 3 overall pick, but Mystics fan. She's going to be wearing number 22 in a Mystics jersey. Your thoughts about what stood out from what she had to share today?
Well, I love Sonia Citron's game, right? She is a player that doesn't need the basketball to impact the game. She is a staunch defender. She is going to get after it on the glass. She's 6'1", so she can play in a versatile way on both sides of the court. She's a versatile mismatch, if you will. She's long and lanky, she's disruptive, but for me, she doesn't need 15 or 20 shots to be impactful on the offensive side. She is very efficient and effective. And you heard what she said, I never get too high or get too low. And that is a moniker from Neil Ivey, her head coach at Notre Dame. That's what she lived by. And that's why she was able to have that steadying mentality for her entire career with the Irish.
I love the stoicism. I love that. She says she never gets too high, never gets too low.
That's
something
Neil
you can
Ivey,
always appreciate it. Hey, shout out to the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame. But let's move on to Kiki. Number 4 overall pick out of USC, by the way, for those in SoCal. Yeah, Harvard Westlake grad. Great alumnus over there. Wearing number 44 for the Mystics. Your thoughts on what she brings to the table?
Well, I love Kiki Iriafen. She has been magnificent, not just at USC, but also prior to that at Stanford. She was magnificent in terms of her effectiveness, and her ability to score right at the rim was outstanding. She shot 63% on rim attempts and 47% in the mid-range. Those numbers dropped off a little bit at USC, 53% from the midi and 33% inside. So I think when you're playing with different kinds of players, I mean, she was playing with Juju Watkins.
I was about to say, Juju's got to come into this conversation.
Yeah, it was a very geocentric offense created because of that. But I thought that she really was a staunch key component to the success of USC this year because of her mid-range shot ability, but also her ability to defend.
All right, last but not least, even though she only stands at 5'6", our number 6 overall pick, who's wearing number 8. We know how we feel about the number 8 in the District of Champions. So, Georgia Amoore, Alzey, another one. Your thoughts on what she brings to the table, Chris?
Georgia Amoore is a savant when it comes to basketball IQ. Kenny Brooks was her head coach at Virginia Tech. They went all the way to the Final Four with her running the show. She transferred to Kentucky when Kenny Brooks took over there as the head coach, and she is one of 3 players since 2010 to average 18 points and at least 6 assists in consecutive seasons on the collegiate level. And that, my friends, is what she is going to bring to the table here. She is a creator of offense, not just for herself, but also for her teammates. And I think she's got a copious amount of options when it comes to who she's going to be able to make plays with on the court here in D.C.
To the questions that were asked earlier about the opportunity afforded them in a short timeline, I'm glad we just got through with the women's college game. Straight to the draft. Next up, Mystics season. So for Christy Winter-Scott, our great staffing crew here at Monumental Sports Network, the Mystics introductory press conference, first round draft of your 2025 draft class in the books. See you on social.